What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
Mike.
I'm Brock, and tonight we've got an exciting one for you. We are discussing two manager cards that were released as a special edition pair along with CPC 2106. We're talking about Kraken with its
Kraken.
distractor rating of 4
Yeah, I changed that to a six, or will be changing it to a six.
and Lord Nexus with his distractor rating of 5.
Yeah, that'll also be changed to a
Whoa,
six.
I got out of focus real bad there for a second.
Yeah, I don't agree that managers should have less of a ranking than just random Joes.
Ringside ally, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially Kraken at a 4. Like, why is he even there?
yeah. So it's neat that these guys, they retired pretty much near the same time. Their careers have always been intertwined.
Hmm.
In my Fed, it was always the FDF. Sorry, it was always the Titans versus whatever army Kraken was leading at the time,
Yeah, yeah.
just a revolving door.
Hmm.
And when they both retired, like I said, I broke up in my storyline. There were five people that bought all the promotions. Omega, Morpheus, Kraken, Nexus, and Magnus Colby, and they each decided that two of them would own each one. That way, they can 50% each, so they can you know discuss. And so Kraken and Nexus own my NGA, my middle Fed, and Titan Power. Uh, I have Nexus being a hands-on uh, commissioner,
Hmm.
and Kraken's more of a background guy at the moment. So he still manages. So Nexus does manage, but Kraken doesn't really manage for
Yeah.
me. He'll show up at the odd time for like as a special manager type thing, just to stay involved. But at the
Hmm.
moment, I don't have any storylines for him.
Okay.
I don't have any Society of Death or anything like that written out for him.
Hmm. So
So,
he manages those guys we talked about last week, apparently.
yep, Dark Justice and
Vigilante.
Vigilante.
Yeah. I'm so glad that they do backs now on the managers with their own interference charts and stuff.
Yeah,
Because it's just, I mean, not gonna lie, like getting these cards and looking at them, like, what's the point? Like even from like the company standpoint, they had to commission artwork for a card that just, I don't know.
it almost makes me wish I had thought of doing manager backs a few years earlier.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's a staple now. Anybody, even like the ones that the reimagined sets, the guys that didn't have charts before, or at least like to give both these guys wrestling stats. They
Yeah,
don't have to be good.
yeah, they could have gave him Renard Beguile type level
Hmm.
stats or Trainer Jim type
Yeah.
stats.
Make the card more relevant, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't even like if I was playing, I wouldn't even dig those cards out. I would just remember that, oh, his distractor rating's a 4.
That's what I'll be doing. It's a distractor of a six.
Yeah.
Nobody in my Fed, nobody drops below a six because six is ringside ally.
Hmm.
You can't be worse than a ringside ally.
Yep. You could stick mutant out there. He might not even know what's going on, and by roll, he
But,
would be better.
when I look at the artwork for these cards, um, they're actually not bad. The
No,
Nexus one I kind of like.
I like that a lot. He looks way too young. Like
Yeah,
this guy looks like he's maybe in his mid 20s.
he that's Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, before Dwayne The Rock Johnson existed. Like, well, he existed, but he wasn't, nobody knew who he was.
Yeah, and then that Kraken's not a bad drawing.
Mm-mm. If I can get it into focus here, I'm having some camera trouble tonight.
It's a grizzled veteran look.
There he is.
And for Bendis, it's actually not too bad. He didn't go crazy on the shading. Now, I don't know what's going on with his neck
His collar with the antenna.
and his shoulder bones, and like he's got traps for days.
Maybe we should look at the handbook and make sure he's not in like some kind of stasis or something. And that's why his distractor rating is so low.
Yeah, there's a story behind it.
Yeah.
He's in a box. They
Yeah.
wheel him out.
Mhm. Some kind of containment suit that's keeping him alive.
But yeah, that's one of those things for like you said with the managers. It was one of the best things I think the game started doing,
hmm
putting the backs on.
Yeah. I didn't mind at the beginning when they just had wrestling stats either. Like that was fine. Put them in the occasional six man or whatever. And
Like I look at the book in 2015 when this book ends, Lord Nexus is still managing,
I believe he's still active. I think he's in the recent stuff.
and Kraken got a new card
hmm
to come back to wrestle somehow.
hmm
I want to figure out a way to put that back in.
Yeah.
And he's gone from Kraken to Invincible Kraken. I did not like. Oh, Kraken does retire though. He gets banned for life. Took Mutant with him as his faithful slave.
Poor mutant.
Yeah, I know. Banished permanently in 2115. But he went. I like the name the Invincible Kraken just better than Kraken.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds more like an 80s wrestler.
Yeah, but since we really can't talk too much about two
Manager
manager
cards.
cards and manager cards that do not have backs,
hmm
um, this weekend I spent a lot of time making spreadsheets for all my GWF wrestlers, tag team, women's wrestlers, and women's tag teams. Because I'm computer illiterate, I sent Brock the link to open up and
hmm
my GWF feds.
I got it right here. Here we go.
And so we can
Here.
show this. So right now it's on, wins by countout. So you can see that Mutant has 21 of his wins. He's only got 65 wins. So a third of his wins are basically he's turning someone into a lawn dart and keeping, 11 wins by submission. That is a Mutant because he had that temple grinder with a submission
hmm
hold.
hmm
And then 14 DQ losses because now for me, my losses, I don't count DQ and DDQ in the total of losses.
Okay. Okay.
I
Yeah,
just
because it's
do
not
I just
pin. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting pinned or submitted or counted out. So it's a
Okay.
it's a totally separate thing. But if you move to win total on
Right
the
here.
G, yeah, you can see Thantos, even though he's been retired a few years, still leads.
Well, he's tied.
Yeah,
They need to
with
have a match.
with 136 wins.
You need to book Wolf versus Thanatos right now.
And but Thantos leads, so you can see Chaos 135, and Chaos still has a few more, so a few more years. Matador's 131. Star Warrior, Mayhem, and Massive are the three guys in the triple digit club.
Looking at your sheet here, Thanatos did it in a lot less matches.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's one thing I could have did was total.
hmm I just got it based on the losses. I added it up quick, but yeah, he's like significantly less matches than Chaos.
Yeah, Chaos. Now, Chaos is 121 wins by pin. But
Yeah, it's
it's neat when you go through that because it breaks down.
hmm
Like, you could go by win by submission.
yeah.
And you see it's going to be Thantos probably in number one. But, I think Janus or Mesmer and Wolf, all those guys then creep up to the top. That's the F.
Submission wins. A master lock.
Frenzy or Lightning because he had that sleeper hold finisher.
Hmm
Actagon, Killer Queen, Dynamo, Exo King. A lot of these guys had submission holds.
Nice.
And I think there's 100 and almost 200 wrestlers that I've used over the years.
Yeah, here we go. 185. Waldo makes an appearance.
He hasn't wrestled yet, but he's
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 on
there
the
because
he's in the
he,
sheet.
he's on the sheet. If you don't know, Waldo is a enhancement talent that Brock's daughter did the artwork for.
hmm Waldo.
But then if you go by total losses, who do you think leads my promotion in total losses?
Huh. Hmm. Death Knight. Let's see. Killer Queen. Wolf's up there.
And you can look like Exo King, Dreadnought, Mutant, Mesmer, Pulsar.
That's probably just because of longevity, how long they're around.
Yeah, that's the issue. Except some guys like Cycle Hog, 14 wins and 53 losses.
Yeah.
And Spike. So it's one of those things where um I'm able to see who's the most violent guy. So
Losses by DQ.
yeah, losses by DQ,
Splatter. That fits.
Bishop Hell, Mayhem, Mutant, Dreadnought, Akuma, and even Massive's up there as a good guy. Massive's the first true good guy. I
No
never had
sympathy for the
that.
big guy.
No.
With those referees.
The funniest that made me laugh is the most countout losses.
Dragon
Because
Master.
Pit Viper had a C ring. And back then, you didn't have to roll for pin. It was
It's
automatic
automatic.
10 or above. 10, 11,
Mm.
12. It was automatic. All those guys had a C ring, except for Killer Queen. He didn't. Oh no, he might have had a C ring.
I don't remember. I might have. No, I don't. His card might be here.
But I look at your man, Billy Joe Boxer,
There he is.
24 wins, 43 losses.
You didn't book him right.
But if you switch over to tag, look at that.
Wow.
So if you go total wins, yeah, Gladiators, 121 wins, 27 losses.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
That's really impressive.
that's both that's with the upgrade,
Hmm
the Ultimate Gladiators, or I just call them the Gladiators, and then body count, which is Vigilante and Soldier of Fortune. I just
hmm
didn't like the other name. Armageddon I used, Titan Power, the Greek gods. But there's one team, if you can find it, it's the Stormtroopers.
Okay. I'll do
They,
this.
they,
Stormtroopers.
yeah. So you look at it, they got 15 or total wins. I missed writing it down. Look at their
14.
losses.
Wow. That's
They're 15-1.
that's impressive. I don't think of them as like an elite team either.
No, they're in my UWAs, and they, that they were my Milky Way tag champions, and they're dominating. And then they got a shot at the heavyweight tag and captured that, and they hold all the tag titles. And I'm like, these guys aren't that good.
I like when that happens though. That's part of why I like Billy Joe Boxer so much is like he just went on a tear in my Fed and was just beating everybody.
But I wrote down every guy that teamed up, unless it was for a 1 year off when you only had like two matches or something like that.
Yeah.
But like Wolf and Holocaust, I kept them together for a few years. They were a good tag team for me.
Yeah.
20 and
20 and 12.
yeah. Now the twin tears are because I have two Polluxes. So they're my jobber tag team.
Yeah, they're not doing so hot.
4-27. No. So yeah. So this and Jack and Diamonds and Mace. That's one team I haven't added yet is Massive and Pulsar Prime. I miss them. And they were like 27-2 or something ridiculous. They just worked really well as a tag team. I didn't get them in. I think I just missed them.
This had to take some time.
And my current tag team champions are Chaos and Matador at 5-0 because they won a huge tournament, so they got a title match
Hmm.
and they won it.
Nice.
And then if you go to GWF WS, it's women's singles.
Okay.
So if you go to total wins, now this one is because you'll see Amazonia because she wrestled forever. Pistol Dawn, the NWO, Tiger Mask is NWO, Supernova, and I didn't realize that because I did. Oh, who's got my most losses? Miss Liberty. She gets her ass kicked so much,
Wow.
and she's like a 2 or 3 time champion because she'll get a couple wins. Okay,
She
we'll give
can't
her a
keep
title
it.
shot. Gets it and then loses it the very next. But because I needed some women, so some of these are bootlegs that you may notice.
Hmm. Yeah, there's some
Some,
down there.
yeah. So they're just being slowly introduced, and some are GWFZ.
Yeah. GWFZ had a good block of women characters.
Yeah, and some I introduced it a bit ahead of time, like Sniper. Rhea I use as a woman
Yeah.
because she is a woman,
Hmm.
and then women's tag, which is right beside it. Don't have a lot. I don't wrestle a lot of women's tags, as you can see,
Hmm.
like the Orient Express, which is Tiger Mask and Tachyon
Okay.
for me. I got Thrash and Maim. Thrash, and then Maim is from Dave Schaefer's created a set
Oh
like
yeah.
20 years ago.
That's a good set. The SWA, I think it was called.
Yep.
That was I thought they were official cards when I picked them up at Galacticon. Them and the NGO cards.
So it's and Pistol Dawn and Draconian Chic. I have them as NWO, and they're just you know I get a lot more double DQs with women than I do with the men.
That's funny.
But this is just something I'm working on. Then next, when I start my Legends Fed and my Hollywood Fed, I'll
Hmm.
add it up.
New tabs at the bottom, all one spreadsheet.
But this is and I thought of turning some of the later things into titles.
Hmm.
So I can click on it and be like, okay, he held this title so many times for so many defenses. So that'll be something I'll probably add on at a later date. So
Yeah,
I know there are people who are spreadsheet fanatics.
this looks good. I like this.
But
It'll
about
be a piece of cake now that you got all this, 30 years of data in there.
yep.
Keeping it up's not going to be, it's going to seem like nothing.
No, yeah, it took forever, trust me.
I'm sure.
And people may not find it interesting, because everybody's got their own feds and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But just going through, I'd click on stuff and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize this person has, uh, like if you go back to GWF singles, I think something struck out with Lance Atlas that just surprised me. Oh, there he is there. He's on. Yeah, he's got way more losses than,
Yeah, he does.
but he's never been DQ'd.
Wow.
Yeah,
He's a good dude.
yeah,
He plays by the rules.
he's never been. And I was like, I'm doing it, and I'm like, hold on, he's got 67 losses and he's never been DQ'd.
Wow. Wow.
But I just found that interesting. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And like,
That's a you can book a story around that.
yeah. And then I was gonna book a story on the most DQ losses by submission. So the guys who just give up easy. Oh,
Yeah. Now I'm done.
oh my God, that hurt. But it's usually people that got like Killer Queen. Like he got into a feud with Mesmer. So Mesmer's finisher was a submission.
Hmm.
And so they feuded for a couple years. And that's how you get, guys with a lot of submission losses because they'd feud somebody like Wolf or Janus or Thantos. Like Star Warrior. Star Warrior probably has, you know, quite a few submission losses because he feuded Thanos for like 6 years.
Hmm.
So that's L sub. Or,
Creeper also never been disqualified.
yeah, that's weird. There you go, right there. L sub. Yeah.
Wolf. What a quitter.
Yep. He can dish it out, doesn't like to take it. But Creeper is a 12, and most of that probably came from Mutant because I feuded those guys forever.
You could definitely do a story with like Lance Atlas, like somebody like Splatter. Like, is he gonna finally break the rules?
That's one of the things when I saw that I'm like, oh, that sticks out, and I had the same thing where is Lance finally going to snap on somebody?
Hmm.
I always have him the calm, cool, collected guy.
Yeah, so did the dice. That's cool.
Uh, I was impressed by it. Same as win loss record, like Incredible Badger. If you just go, he had yeah, you can just go alphabetical order. He had a surprising one loss record, 49 and 23
Yeah, twice as
for a
much as he.
singles.
Yeah, he was the better of the two.
I didn't think so because his finisher was a zero, but he just did it.
Nice.
Well, like I said, it was just something fun that I had wanted to do, and Grant Pachoco had talked about how I think he did it he did it as well.
Hmm.
I'm like, I really got to get doing this.
Yeah, I might have to adopt something like this whenever I do my little soft reboot here in the new year for my
Yeah,
my
if I
bootleg
would have did
Fed.
it from the start, but I think I held off onto it so long because I'm like, I got 30 years to do.
Yeah, right. That's a lot. That's a lot. Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing. I always like looking at spreadsheets and stuff like that. Just seeing the stats. Like the things that pop out.
Yep. Yeah, and some of the things like I didn't realize how good the Gladiators were on their one loss record. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, their total wins, yeah.
Yeah, that's like
121 and 27.
they've almost won 100 more than they
Yeah.
lost.
And they retired on top. They were like, yeah, we're good. And then the mercenaries are 100 like, they're on a 3-to-1 clip.
Hmm.
The Greek gods were a 500 team, and I never liked them. New Order 51 and 43, Superiority Complex 49 and 43. A lot of the teams were the Anti-Men were better, like 49 and 19. They had a good record. So
That's
yeah, a lot of the
You have to do a win
Gladiator
percentage
Vanguard,
here.
yeah, Thunder and Overkill are doing pretty good, 37 and 11.
It's good.
So yeah, Keepers of the Stone. A lot of teams I realize when I'm doing this were basically 500 or above, or just at that 500 level.
Hmm. Yeah, even Mason Dregs.
The one team that probably my biggest surprise were Stalker and Wildcat at 34 and 18. But they were four-time Intergalaxian tag champs, so they did well.
Yeah, a lot of them are right at 500.
Yeah, and I didn't realize until I was doing this. So I'm going through. I'm like, wow, like, and Cosmic Forces. I thought they had a way better record. No, they were horrible. Like they're just above. They're
Oh
just
yeah,
above
they
45 and 55.
they got a losing record.
Yeah, that shocked me.
Yeah, because you think of them as one of the elite teams.
And they're one of my favorite. I loved using those guys, and I think they captured my Intergalaxian tag like four times, so they probably did, but then lose it after two cards. So it's one of those things. As soon as I put this together, I was like, "Wow, I'm blown away."
That's why I wish I'd have kept better record. Like I mean I could go back and watch the videos and stuff for my Fed and make something like this, but I don't have the time. I mean, the kids are out of school, out of the house,
You should, Brock. It's only 700 hours.
right? I
Look
mean,
at this fast
I have
forward.
it all, I kept it all in notebooks at first, and then I moved it to a Google Doc, and then I just didn't keep up with that. I'm gonna start
Yeah.
fresh this year.
So yeah, like I said, I break it down into draws. So you can. I don't have many draws. I think
Hmm.
superiority complex you can see leads. Oh no, it's the Greek gods. 5 draws.
Is that the double DQ here?
Yeah. Oh, the draws are the first one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The draws win by count out. Yeah. Dragon Master and Quasar. But yeah, so I didn't have many, but so I go draws, win by count out, win by DQ, win by pin, win by submission, total wins. Lost by count out, lost by DQ, lost by double DQ, lost by pin, lost by submission, total losses. So yes, I'm very pedantic when it comes to money.
Nothing wrong with that.
And that's one thing I remember. I was at a Galacticon, which was in outside of Pittsburgh at that hall that everyone
Hmm.
made fun of. That was in like where they filmed The Purge.
Right.
And I'm talking to Lori Beck, Pete Beck's wife, and she goes, "Do you want to know something about Pete on how in depth he is about this game?" And I'm like, "Huh? What?" She goes, "Did you know he keeps track of wins and loss records for these wrestlers in their game?" I went, "Lori, hold on a second." And I'm like, "Hey, everybody, can I get your attention?" I said, "Raise your hand if you keep track of win loss records." Everybody puts up their hands. And Lori's like, Oh my God.
Yep. It's kind of important.
I'm like, Pete's not weird.
Yeah.
We all do it. It's just on. I know guys who just go win loss. That's it.
I used to keep track of like if somebody used their how many times they would use their finisher in a match to see how effective it was and stuff like that. And yeah, I got real stat heavy
Oh yeah,
at
you
one
can do it.
point.
This is in depth as I'm getting.
This is good. This is good stats.
This might not be as exciting for some people, unless you're a stat guy.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I decided it was something. I thought I'd share it. I was excited.
Yeah, that's a lot of work to put that all in there
It
for
took me a
sure.
weekend. I put on TV and I'm watching.
Just
Well,
imagine if you didn't have those little note cards and you had to flip through books and stuff.
I have it all on graph paper,
Hmm.
and I'm like, so I've years. I have like a stack of graph paper, where I would write everybody out by year. So that's I
Hmm.
just started working in reverse order.
There you
Okay, here's somebody who retired, add them. Somebody retired, add them.
go.
And that's how I slowly built backwards.
Okay. That's a good way to do it.
That way I'm not
Cool.
changing every wrestler year by year.
Hmm.
And then after every year, I would just hit the alphabetic order button. So I didn't, put guys in
Duplicate
twice.
entries, yeah. That'd be easy to do, honestly. Real easy to do.
So some things I'm like, okay, Frenzy, Lightning. Was he any other names? No. Okay.
Do you have an entry for Comrade Terror and Dreadnought?
I could do that. Whiplash, Marcel Desaad.
Very cool.
So that's my Fed in a nutshell. And yeah,
Oh,
I marked everybody under GWF
hmm.
just because it's the game part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was neat to see Thantos. He's been retired. I think I retired him in like 2102.
Hmm.
So it's been 4 years, and people are just now catching up to him.
Yeah. That's impressive. He did it in a lot less matches too.
Yeah,
It's
and
nice
he's
to see
also got
that too.
like I remember his last GWF heavyweight title run was right where he's got Chaos and Matador and Spike and Star Wars, all these guys coming at him, and he held on to that title 20 defenses.
Hmm.
Most of my heavyweight title reigns are probably about 10 because those guys are all tough. So if
Yeah.
you can,
Right.
and he's just beating them, and I'm like, oh my, I couldn't believe it. Like everybody there has a +3 or a 4, like Mayhem, all those guys, their finishers are +3 to +6.
Yeah. Right.
And it was like, wow. And yeah, he held, except for Chaos, who's got three. And so that's one thing. That's the next thing I'm going to do is make a list of who's held the longest, just so I know that
That'd be cool to see.
longest reigns. But the next thing I'm going to add is probably all the titles, and then just who's held, you know,
Nice.
massacred. He's held what titles, or like it's funny when I go with Thantos because he's only held like the heavyweight title like 9 times and the tag title once.
Hmm.
And then you get somebody like Massive and Lord Nexus who have held every title.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. We'll have to look at it, the updated version whenever you add the titles in the history there. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't done so yet, please click the subscribe button. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. While you're here, scroll on down to the description. You'll find all of our friends who make Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast roll up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Longpree, solo promoter from Grant Pachoco. Grant is also here on YouTube, along with Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling. Brad plays 81, Bucky 749. I'm on Twitch, kind of sporadic right now with a lot of things going on with the kids at home and stuff. It's been tough to get on, but I'll get on when I can. So just keep an eye on social media. I'll post whenever I'm going live with a wrestling show. Check that out if you can on Twitch. And until next week, everybody, have a great week.
Night, everyone.
Later.